Hello General Hospital Today will reveal. Exciting events will unfold over the next 2 weeks from February 2nd to February 13th, 2026. First, during the week of February 2nd to 6th, a darker, more manipulative side of Willow begins to take shape, revealing how far she is willing to go in her desperate effort to regain control over her fractured family. Her actions mark a significant shift from her once peaceful demeanor as she quietly strategizes to exploit every legal and emotional avenue available. In particular, Willow zeroes in on the fragile relationship between Scout Quartermaine and Danny Morgan. Aware of the delicate balance following recent legal interventions, she starts whispering threats that could jeopardize the tenuous peace, suggesting she might invoke the restraining order that prevents Scout from contacting Danny. This threat isn't simply about enforcing legal boundaries, it's a calculated move to sow discord and gain leverage, using children as pawns in a conflict that should have never reached them. Willow's obsession with reconnecting with her children overrides any moral hesitation she may have had. In her mind, her maternal right justifies extreme measures, even if that means confronting Alexis Davis with veiled threats and manipulative guilt. Alexis, ever the legal and moral compass of the family, finds herself pushed into a corner. Willow is no longer making polite requests or heartfelt appeals. She's issuing ultimatums. And when Alexis hesitates, Willow pivots to Michael, applying the same psychological pressure. This time, though, there's a deeper emotional entanglement, as Michael is both the father of her children and a man with his own moral burdens. He finds himself torn between protecting his son and navigating the minefields that Willow has created. Her increasing aggression reveals a woman driven not just by love, but by a toxic need for control and emotional vindication. Jason Morgan, as always, finds himself caught in the middle. His instincts scream to protect Danny, especially from threats veiled as maternal concern, but also Jason understands the emotional weight Michael carries. Watching Willow weaponize custody and trauma pushes Jason into a position he hates, choosing between the two people he once trusted. He knows that if Willow escalates her campaign, Danny could suffer irreparable harm, not physically, but psychologically, trapped between adults using him as leverage. At the same time, Jason doesn't want Michael cornered into a compliance through emotional blackmail. The internal conflict brews quietly inside him, threatening to undermine the stoic front he always maintains. Meanwhile, Jason receives new information from Britt Westbourne that could change everything. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Britt confided in him that she witnessed Jen Sidwell murdering Henry Hank Dalton right before her eyes. The shock of this revelation forces Jason to reassess not only the depth of Sidwell's criminality, but also the level of danger Britt might still be in. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Jason brings this to Sonny Corinthos, initiating a high-level strategy meeting. Both men, seasoned in dealing with betrayal and violence, begin to sketch out a plan not just to neutralize Sidwell, but to uncover the full scope of the threat looming over them. While Sonny and Jason work behind closed doors, Britt is left to navigate the increasing pressure around Ross Cullum. The director's shadow looms larger each day, his motive still unclear but undeniably sinister. Britt, once trying to move forward with a new chapter in her life, now finds herself buried in old fears and dangerous truths. What she uncovers next may not only validate her worst suspicions, but possibly link Sidwell's violence to Anna Devane's mysterious disappearance and imprisonment. If that's true, the conspiracy may be deeper than anyone imagined, stretching across WSB corridors and involving those once believed to be allies. Elsewhere, Jocelyn Jacks continues to wander into increasingly dangerous territory. Still reeling from her emotional entanglement with Cullum, known to her only as Matthew, she decides to go on a seemingly innocent fishing trip. But her instincts, dulled by flirtation and the desire to escape her chaotic life, blind her to the dangers lurking beneath the surface. This outing, simple on its face, becomes a metaphor for how far she's drifted from safety and how close she may be to a point of no return. If Cullum truly is manipulating her, then this excursion could be the calm before the storm, a moment of false serenity before the darkness resurfaces with force.
As all these threads intertwine, the emotional tension among Port Charles's residents intensifies. Willow's descent into manipulation threatens the fragile connections between parents and children, while Jason is forced to reckon with moral ambiguity as threats multiply from every direction. Britt's entrapment in a web of institutional corruption and violence only deepens, and Jocelyn's naivete may lead her into a danger she isn't equipped to handle. Every action has a consequence, every secret inches closer to exposure. And the next few days could unravel lives with a single decision. In a town where alliances shift like sand, the cost of survival might be higher than any of them are willing to admit. Second, Jocelyn's curiosity begins to sharpen into something far more focused and dangerous as she becomes increasingly 5-ass contention. Determined to learn more about Cullum, what started as vague suspicion now evolves into a quiet personal investigation. Driven by instinct and a growing sense that nothing about him is accidental, she revisits every interaction, every carefully chosen word, and every unexplained absence, trying to piece together a pattern that might expose who he truly is. Alongside this growing unease, Jocelyn becomes fixated on the P.K. Sinclair novel she recently discovered, sensing that it may not be a coincidence at all. The book feels like a breadcrumb deliberately placed in her path, its themes and hidden meanings unsettlingly aligned with what she has experienced. As she digs deeper, Jocelyn finds herself pulled into a psychological maze, unsure whether she is uncovering the truth or being guided toward a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep her distracted and vulnerable. At the same time, emotional confessions ripple through Port Charles, quietly reshaping long-standing relationships. Nathan finds himself opening up to Nina about his unresolved feelings for Lulu, admitting emotions he has kept buried out of loyalty, fear, and uncertainty. This vulnerability marks a turning point for him, as he begins to confront the reality that his heart has already chosen a direction, whether he is ready to act on it or not. Unbeknownst to him, Lulu is undergoing her own emotional reckoning. She turns to Laura, finally acknowledging the depth of her feelings for Nathan and the confusion that comes with them. Lulu's confession is layered with guilt and hope shaped by past losses and the fear of repeating old mistakes. Both Nathan and Lulu are circling the same emotional truth from opposite sides, unaware of how close they are to colliding with it. Elsewhere, tensions escalate on multiple fronts. Curtis reaches out to Alexis for assistance with a matter that carries serious legal and moral weight, trusting her judgment and experience in navigating situations where the law intersects with deeply personal consequences. Alexis, already stretched thin by ongoing crises, senses that whatever Curtis needs help with could have lasting repercussions for more than one family. Meanwhile, Chase's patience finally fractures under mounting pressure. His anger simmers just beneath the surface before erupting, fueled by frustration, unresolved resentment, and the feeling that he is constantly being undermined. This volatile emotional state makes him especially vulnerable when Michael once again provokes him. Intentionally or not, Michael's actions reignite old grievances, setting the stage for another intense confrontation that threatens to spiral out of control and expose truths neither man is prepared to face. In a quieter but no less significant development, Jacinda meets with Christina for what appears to be a casual, friendly conversation. Beneath the surface, however, this meeting carries emotional complexity as both women bring their own histories, regrets, and unspoken expectations into the room. Their interaction hints at shifting alliances and the possibility of shared understanding, but it also raises questions about trust and motive. What is said during this encounter may linger long after the meeting ends, influencing decisions that neither woman fully anticipates yet. After Drew is discharged from the hospital, he returns home expecting recovery, stability, and care. Instead, he steps directly into Willow's calculated control. Outwardly attentive and devoted, Willow assumes the role of caretaker with unsettling precision, masking her true intentions behind a facade of concern. As Drew's physical condition improves, the emotional danger surrounding him intensifies. Willow's presence becomes suffocating, her watchfulness constant, her mood unpredictable. The power imbalance between them grows sharper with each passing day, especially as Drew begins to sense that his survival may not be something Willow truly wants. The situation reaches a chilling turning point when Willow finally reveals the truth about the shooting. Her confession is not driven by remorse, but by dominance delivered with a quiet menace that leaves no room for doubt. She makes it clear that Drew's recovery is not a relief to her, but a threat. And she implies that if he regains his strength and independence, she is prepared to silence him permanently. This revelation transforms Willow from a manipulative schemer into a very real and immediate danger, blurring the line between emotional abuse and outright violence. Drew is left trapped, physically weakened and psychologically cornered, realizing too late that the person entrusted with his care may be the one he needs protection from the most. Third, the week of February 9 to 13 will bring with it a highly anticipated development in Port Charles as Maxie finally awakens from her coma and returns to the screen starting February 12. Her reappearance will not only evoke relief and emotional reunions, but will also immediately complicate the delicate triangle forming between Lulu and Nathan. Maxie's condition has been a looming shadow over their evolving bond, and her return to consciousness will jolt both Lulu and Nathan into emotional reevaluation. While Nathan has just started to open up about his conflicted feelings to Nina, Maxie's revival forces those feelings back into uncertainty. The loyalty he feels toward Maxie and the affection blossoming between him and Lulu collide at the very moment when, Both women may need clarity and reassurance from him. For Lulu, Maxie's return will be especially difficult. Her recent conversations with Laura have revealed just how deeply her feelings for Nathan run. But with Maxie re-entering the picture, Lulu must suppress her desires once again and decide whether to retreat, remain silent, or risk the fragile stability that exists. The emotional minefield she must now navigate grows more dangerous with each passing day, as any misstep could trigger a cascade of heartbreak, guilt, and betrayal that none of them are prepared for. This renewed dynamic doesn't just threaten Lulu's emotional safety, it destabilizes the broader network of friendships and family loyalties that Maxie, Nathan, and Lulu have spent years cultivating. Meanwhile, Molly Lansing Davis finds herself entangled in a far different but no less complex struggle. She begins searching for guidance on how to repair her strained relationship with Cody Bell. Although Cody initially embraced the idea of being part of Molly's creative work, that enthusiasm turned to bitterness when he discovered the unflattering portrayal of a character clearly inspired by Be Him in her book. Cody feels betrayed not just artistically but personally, believing Molly used their shared experiences as ammunition for mockery rather than empathy. This misunderstanding has fractured their trust, leaving Molly caught between defending her creative expression and making amends with someone who once mattered to her deeply. Molly, determined to fix things, explores ways to explain her intentions honestly, perhaps even hoping to convince Cody that the character was less of a causing, direct reflection and more of a narrative exaggeration born out of fiction. Yet what she may not realize is that Christina, her sister, has already had a hand in souring Cody's perception. Christina's subtle manipulation, encouraging Molly to view Cody with suspicion and planting seeds of doubt, has played a crucial, if hidden, role in this rift. Now Christina faces her own moral reckoning. She must grapple with the impact of her influence and decide whether to come clean or allow her sister to bear the bold consequences alone. The guilt quietly eats away at her as she watches the two people she hurt move further apart, perhaps beyond reconciliation. In another emotionally charged corner of Port Charles, Charlotte Cassadine wrestles with her own internal storm. Nina Reeves, once a trusted ally, has committed the ultimate betrayal in Charlotte's eyes, engaging in a secretive conversation with Jack Brennan, a man Charlotte has every reason to distrust. This betrayal isn't just a matter of trust, it's personal, strategic, and symbolic. Nina's actions have exposed her as someone willing to play both sides,